Glock, Sig Sauer, Smith & Wesson. Alright, so I named the big three, as some people call it. However, it's a lot more than just the big three. There's also models. And the current year is 2024, so we're going to cover what is mainly in use as of this year and what the possible future could bring. Well, with that being said, let's get started with our first lineup. I'll probably give about 10 models, and I'll start with the least common all the way to the most common. Then at the end, I will give my personal analysis. FN Herstal 509 MRD. I see the 509 becoming more common in the future because it's been adopted by the LAPD, which is one of the largest departments in the nation. Shortly after that, the Beverly Hills Police Department adopted the 509. And now the Indian River County Sheriff's Office in Florida has adopted it due to issues with their P320s. So given the LAPD adopting it, I do see this getting some more adoption across the United States. Walther, PDP. I see the PDP similar to the 509 in its success due to the Pennsylvania State Police adopting it, and even a state agency within the state of Florida has adopted it. In addition, there have been municipal police departments who have adopted it, and the Brevard County Sheriff's Office in Florida also currently uses it, and they previously used Glock. So this is a rising star. More law enforcement agencies use the PDP than the 509 as of currently. Heckler & Koch, VP9. The VP9 has seen some decent adoption in recent years. It's, an approved weapon for the Madison, Wisconsin Police Department. It's used by the Buchanan County Sheriff's Office in Iowa. And it's also used by a few other municipal departments within the United States. Now, being H&K, I don't see it getting major widespread adoption, but I do see it getting still some decent adoption now that they do have an optics-ready model. So I do think there are a few California agencies that also allow it. Sig Sauer P226 and P229. One of my personal favorites, the classic P226 series of pistol. I think it is still decently widely used by law enforcement across the United States, from California to Michigan to Florida and back. They also have a double-action Kellerman model, a DAK, which is a double-action only semi-automatic handgun, which is nice for departments that don't want to have to worry about the double-action, single-action trigger reset and or the cocker. The P229 is also a great package. It's a 2-in-1 in my opinion. You can issue it to a patrol officer or you can give it to a detective, and it'll work just fine. And it's also still used by a decent amount of law enforcement agencies around the United States of America. I still see the P226 being adopted by departments. I mean, yes, it's a double-action, single-action, but with the P320 concerns, I do see a lot of Sig Sauer-reliant departments putting down the extra money or getting a deal on the P226. Glock Model 22. Even with the 9mm craze that's currently ongoing still, the Glock Model 22 being a 40 caliber, I still think it is widely used across the United States still. There are big cities that still use it. There are county sheriff's offices that use it, and there's small town departments around the United States that still use this, along with federal departments. I'll be quite honest, I see this thing being in service for many more years with various departments who aren't ready yet to switch to the 9mm pistols. If someone asked me to name a police pistol, the Glock Model 22 40 caliber would be one of my first answers, because for a long time this was the paramount Glock that was used by law enforcement around the United States in large numbers. Smith & Wesson M&P First Gen. The Smith & Wesson M&P First Gen is a very commonly used handgun. If a department's not carrying a Glock, then they're most likely going to be carrying the M&P First Gen. Now, a lot of the M&P First Gens have since been replaced by the M&P 2.0, which will be covered later in the video. However, there are still a decent amount of M&P 1.0s in service with various law enforcement agencies across the nation. Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. The M&P 9 2.0 has been adopted by several agencies, including the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office and the LAPD, before they went to the FN 509. Now, the M&P 9 2.0, I think, is phenomenal. It's got a great trigger, a coarse grip without having to put on grip tape, and you can even get an optics-ready variant, and they do come with different barrel sizes. Now, what I predict happening is departments that are concerned with the P320 but don't want to go with the Glock are most likely going to go with the M&P 2.0. Just because it's an all-around gun, it can come with an external safety or a non-external safety as an option. Sig Sauer P320. Despite the concerns with the drop safety and going off in the holster, the P320 has still been widely adopted from anywhere from federal law enforcement to state troopers to county sheriffs to police departments to even small town departments. The P320 does come with optics-ready variants, and it does come with various slide and frame configurations. Overall, the P320 is not a bad weapon once you get past the concerns with the drop safety issue, but there is a Sig Sauer offered fix to that, which I do recommend. Now, I would be interested to see if some departments request P320s with an external safety, as you would see on the M17 and M18 military version. Glock Model 45. The Glock Model 45 has been very commonly adopted by departments who are going to 9mm Glocks, and or if they're even upgrading to a 9mm Glock from a 45 or 40 caliber Glock. It has the capacity of a Glock 17 with a slide length of the Glock 19. In addition, it has the MOS variant, which comes with the, optics-ready slide, and you can put magwell tactical flashlight on it as you can with the regular model. I see this being one of the top 2 Glocks that will be going into law enforcement primarily as a sidearm by a majority of departments, just because of the great package it comes with. And with the Glock 17 MOS being discontinued, I do see this being one of the top 2 Glocks now that a lot more departments are going to the optic-ready handguns for a sidearm, as it has shown better accuracy and reliability. Glock Model 47 MOS. I honestly see the Glock Model 47 MOS being the go-to Glock for law enforcement in the coming years. And the main reason being is with the Glock 17 MOS being discontinued, and as mentioned on the Glock Model 45, optics-ready handguns are becoming more prevalent. And I think the Model 47 is going to be the go-to sidearm, because there are departments currently who carry the Glock 17 or Glock 17 MOS who are now upgrading to the Glock Model 47. And its adoption by Border Patrol, I think, gives it a great endorsement. The Staccato 2011 9mm series of pistol, I think, are some of the best on the market. I wanted to put those in the original video, but they do have a more expensive price tag. Now, that being said, they have been adopted by a couple hundred departments, either as standard issue or as an approved weapon. I think the Beretta APX is also a decent option. I would have put that on the list, but it hasn't seen as much adoption as the 509 has or as the Walther has. I only know of a couple departments that have adopted it, but overall it does seem like a great sidearm. The Heckler & Koch USP series of pistols are actually some of my favorite, and I know in the United States they saw more adoption in the 1990s and 2000s. In recent years, there's a few departments that still issue these to officers, but I also know there's other departments that have this as an approved option, such as the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Though not widely used anymore, the Beretta 92 series of handguns and 96 series, the 40 caliber versions, I still think they're pretty decent sidearms. I know the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department in Missouri still uses the Beretta 92 series of handgun, and the LA County Sheriff's Office still has deputies that still carry it as well. In regards to this video, I tried to cover the most commonly known police sidearms. Now, obviously, there are a few that I haven't mentioned, such as the Glock Model 21, 45 caliber, Sig Sauer P320, 45 caliber as well, but I'm just focusing on the ones that are more commonly used in law enforcement as of 2024. Now, could that change? Very much so. But in the meantime, I still see Glock being the front runner in law enforcement of the United States. I would say at one point they had 65% of contracts, and now I'd say they have about 70 to 75% of the contracts. In my opinion, I believe that more agencies will continue to transition to 9mm handguns, and I strongly believe that Glock is going to remain the frontrunner for a while. Now, that being said, the Sig Sauer P320, even with the bad press on the drop safety issue, I still see that being adopted by a decent amount of departments, followed by the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Now, with that being said, the Staccato, the Walther, and the FN 509, I do believe those will also start to get more wide adoption, as those three are still phenomenal options. They're just not the common three, which I named at the start of the video. And that's the only thing that kind of sets them back a little bit. I'm not going to lie, the Sig Sauer P226 is my favorite option, to be honest. I mean, it's a proven design, it's durable, rugged, it's been adopted around the United States, and the globe for that matter, and not only is it adopted by law enforcement, there's militaries and Tier 1 Special Forces units that utilize it. Is it the most ergonomic? No, it is not. However, I still like the P226. I've shot it. It feels good in my hands. I like how it operates. It has low recoil. And above all else, to me, it's a solid option.